What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Listen, as soon as I started going live, it started thundering and lightning. So, it's getting ready to storm. So bear with me if, anything happens. Just bear with me. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You guys, come on in, come on in, come on in. This is Love and Marriage Hunstville Season 10, Episode 5. Let me just say this before I even get into this review. Here's what I have figured out about Nell. Nell is one of those people that just wants to be miserable. She just wants to be miserable. Because the storm has missed y'all so far. The Fletchers and their children can go. Is Tiffany feeling better? Destiny can leave by the back door. If Martell brings out, oh Lord, I know what you meant to say, Chuck. Okay. Happen said, "Woo, I'm happy all of that weather waited until I got back. I was in DC most of last week, girl. Yeah, because we didn't get a lot of storming last week. We had a storm last night in Chicago, so maybe listen." Yeah, Happen Nell is just determined to be miserable because this episode, it starts off with Nell talking to Lance. Now, last season, and I'm glad they brought this up at the end of this episode because when I was watching this scene, excuse me, y'all, when I was watching this scene, all I was thinking was, did we not spend all of last season? Was that not your storyline, Nell? Your storyline last season was you renewing your vows and you in this situation with your children, right? Now, you spent all last year talking about how your kids don't respect your boundaries, how you can't do everything for them, how they wear you out, they ask for too much, they want too much, they always pulling at you and tugging at you, and you are setting these boundaries, and y'all can't do everything, and it's time for you and your husband to start doing y'all own thing, and y'all can't be stressing about these churn. That is what you said, Nell. Those were your words, not mine. And here we are this season. We start this episode off with you going to visit your child who allegedly, according to you, had a baby that you didn't even know nothing about, right? Allegedly, your son that went out here and had not his first, not his second, but his third child, that allegedly you claim you didn't know nothing about till the baby got here. But what it sounds like is that you dropped everything and you had the child and the son living with you when the baby was born. Now the son looked like he got his own place and he's talking about how hard it is because the baby's teething and he up at night and oh my gosh, he got to get up and go to work and he's tired and the baby's tired and he just needs some help. And you said, well, why don't you come back over here and come and stay at my house for a couple of days out of the week so you can get a good night's sleep. And instead of your son saying, Mama, thank you, I really appreciate that, he says, no, that's not good enough. Because I don't want to inconvenience the baby. So then Nell says, well, would it be better if I just came over here and stayed with you at your house so you don't have to move the baby to my house? How about I just come and stay with you? Never mind that Nell is that Nell is running a whole business herself. Forget about I need boundaries and my kids want too much from me. Put that to the side for right now. Let's just stay right here in the middle where you're running your own business every day. So then your son says, yeah, Mama, that would be helpful. But I think you need to talk to Daddy first. Because, see, you know that your daddy ain't having it. So what you didn't want is for Kitty Doc, I'm going to get there. You was reading my mind. I'm going to get there next. But, Sierra, I'm going to get there next. But you knew good and daggone well that your daddy wasn't gonna be down with this whole situation. So rather than you be a man and step up and go to your dad and say, hey, I need some help, and mommy's willing to help. It's not gonna be permanent. It's only gonna be for a couple of months. I'm still adjusting. I'm still trying to get this together, and I really, really need her help. Daddy, is it cool? You gonna tell your mama, I would really appreciate that, but you better talk to daddy first. Why you not gonna talk to daddy? Why you not gonna go down there and say, daddy, man to man, can we have a conversation? And the $1 million question that everybody is asking is, where is the mama? Who is the mama to this child? Because my question is based on who is the mama to this child. What is the arrangement with the mama? Like, does he have the child 3 days a week and the mama 4 days? Like, what is the breakdown between you and the mother to this child? Because now I'm concerned about, are y'all blowing smoke up our ass? Like, are we gonna find out on the blogs tomorrow that the mama is gonna come down to the blogs and be like, don't do that. Don't make it seem like I'm not around. Because to hear this conversation, you would think the mama is not a part of this child's life. Did the mama abandon the child? Like, what's going on? Where is the mama? And what role does she play? And why not? And what for? And because to hear them tell the story, he's had custody, and this child has been living with him full time since the beginning of since day one. That's the way it sounded to me. Now, maybe it didn't sound like that to y'all, but it sounded to me like the baby's been with him this whole time. And don't get me wrong, I know stuff like that goes down and stuff like that happens, but I'm just sitting here like, that's just, this whole conversation was crazy to me, especially since your whole storyline last year was how your children want too much from you and you can't do it. See, Kurt says, isn't that what he ended up doing when she said she wasn't worried about asking him? I guess. But what I said was that should have been his conversation from the beginning. At the end of this episode, he did end up having a conversation with the father. Yes, he absolutely did. But he still didn't go to him and say, hey, I'm coming to you because I'm struggling and I'm having a situation and I want to talk to you about this. He still was saying it like, yeah, you know, I was talking to mom and I'm just exhausted. I'm just tired. And mama volunteered. And I told her she needed to ask you. He still didn't go to him like I felt like he should have went to him. Now, maybe it was cool. See, Kurt, maybe you was cool with that. But I felt like he should have been like, listen, I do need your help. Let me talk. Or let the three of us work a schedule out. See, that's what it sounded like to me. They really giving Lance as a full-time single parent. Where's the mammy? And where the other two children? I mean, again, I know things happen, whatever, but this is a woman allegedly, y'all. This is the same situation that didn't nobody know about till the baby got here, and he said he wasn't even sure if he was the father. Now he full-time daddy, and the mother ain't nowhere around. See, I got questions. He waiting for Chris to offer. Right, that's what I'm saying. It sounded like he was trying to, you know, because that's the same thing he did with his mother. Listen. All of us know our parents. And all of us know our parents. And we know what to say to our parents to get what we want out of our parents. We all do. If you want your mama to make a cake, your favorite cake, and you want your mama to make that cake, you know what to say to get your mama to make that cake. If you need to borrow some money, you know what to say to get them to offer it rather than you asking. If you need a favor, listen, we all know how to do it. We all know how to do it. And that's what Lance did to his mama. Lance, instead of Lance coming straight up saying, I'm struggling and I need y'all help. And I know y'all did a lot for me in the beginning, but I still need your help. He did the, I ain't, I think she teething and I can't even get through the night and da-da-da. He knew what she was going to do. Good evening, really being everybody. Those Fletchers never get a full story. Bring us in the middle or the end, or they just do omission for the viewers to figure the ish out. Right, but they're so transparent, right? But she's so transparent. I have a few cousins in the same situation. The mothers have nothing to do with the kids, basically abandoned them. Fortunately, they too stepped up. The family helps. And that's what I'm saying. I know it happens. I've had it happen in my family. I ain't questioning the fact that it happened. I just want to know where the baby, where is the mama? Like, why? And you can have the conversation without telling that woman's business. Because you have to think that the viewers are going to know where the mother is. You have to, especially for a child this young. We're not talking about 3-4-year-old. We're talking about an infant. So you have to think that the viewers are going to want to know, well, where's the mama? Lance has not poor pain management. Not poor pain management. Child, moving right along. I ain't doing this with you, V. Spencer. Chuck, you never had parents you can manipulate? Okay, well. But and again, never mind. I ain't even gonna go. I don't want to go there. So when I saw this first scene, I was like, so basically everything you was fussing and crying about last season is just out the window. Anyway. Apparently, a friend of the mom was in T's chat last night and said she is around. Well, what does that mean, Nitwit? And I know you don't know that. I know you don't know the answer, but I'm saying for myself. When you say she's around, what does that mean? Does that mean that they have joint custody? Does that mean that they're still dating? And like, what does that mean that she's around? Hell, I'm around. And again, I'm not asking you because I know you don't have that answer. But I mean, in general, when you say she's around, where is she? Right, Kim. I think it's just some bullshit for a storyline. Anyway, for the Fletchers to be so uppity, it doesn't look like their kids are well off and flourishing from their generational wealth. I never got the impression that they were uppity. You feel like they uppity? I don't feel like they uppity. But okay. But I did miss a couple of seasons, so maybe something happened in the seasons I didn't watch. The counseling and mentoring everybody, but they damn kid. Right, exactly. So then the next scene we have Kimmy, Tisha, and Destiny. This scene gave me a headache too, because again, I feel like we were doing a whole lot of talking in code without saying what needed to be said. So basically, what Kimmy was saying was, like, because Destiny was saying she couldn't make it to Kimmy's dinner because she was doing her TikTok live. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not gonna say nothing about her TikTok live. Girl, do you make that money? I'm gonna put that over there. Destiny, girl, sell them candles, make that money. I ain't even gonna say nothing. But Kimmy was like, yeah, the purpose of us coming together is so that we could all figure out how we're going to, spend more time together. And in reality TV talk, that is how we're going to film together. We need to get together and film together more, right? So, wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, okay. Those are expensive to start up. I know someone who set those up. Those are expensive. What, TikTok lives? Is that what you're talking about? That TikTok lives are expensive to start up? Or tell me what you're talking about, Kim, that's expensive to start up. They presented that they were this elder, well-established couple with deep roots and money in Alabama. I didn't know that. So let me say this. There are two different things on TikTok, right? You have the TikTok lives that like people who have businesses do, like Canvas Beauty, Melody, other people. Those are two people I just was throwing out. And then you have somebody that can just go on TikTok and sell stuff. Those are two different things. I can start a TikTok live right now and sell stuff. I've seen people do it. I've seen people do regular TikTok lives and just sell stuff. And then I've seen the Canvas beauties of the world. Which one was Destiny doing? And again, I don't know. So let me not, I'm going to put that over there to the side. I wish you well in all your endeavors, Destiny. Sell them candles, girl. Listen. So it's no sooner did Kimmy come out her mouth talking about, yeah, because we need to spend more time together. We need to, come back together. We need to come back together. And then Destiny says, yeah, because like Martell and Tisha was like, well, that's my cue to go to the other side of the room. Listen. I understand why Tisha don't want to film with Martell, but all I'm saying is we can't be sitting here talking about how we're going to bring everybody together, and then one of the main people that don't film with nobody, when it's time to talk about how to bring them together, you on the other side of the room. But okay, never mind. Moving right along. So then they talked about what happened down to Tisha's party. And Kimmy let you know in that moment, Tisha, that you was doing a live. Kimmy let you know in that moment that you were doing a lot. And I'm saying that so when you go and talk to Nell, I'm going to come back to that in a second. But Kimmy told you then, she was like, was I doing a lot? And Kimmy was like, girl, yes, you really was in that woman. You ran up on that man. Like you did come and hide. So Kimmy let you know you was doing a lot, Tisha. But we'll put that over here to the side. The other thing was Destiny, I guess, was trying to blame Kimmy for Lance acting funky. Girl, Lance was acting funky because Lance wanted to act funky because Lance knew he had a whole woman pregnant, but he was pretending to date you online so that you would have a storyline last season. Let's call a thing a thing. Girl, let's call a thing a thing. And then Lance over there talking to his mama, talking about, well, she said we were just casually dating. So we was casually dating. Then, I mean, I was casually dating. So, I mean, I don't feel like I owe her, I don't feel like I owe her nothing. He was like, do I need to have a conversation with her? Sure. But I don't feel like I owe her a conversation. But then Destiny said when she saw you out in public, you ran in the opposite direction. You wasn't even trying to have a conversation with her, according to what Destiny said. Anyway, child, moving right along. Then we see Destiny casual your ass out the door. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, Kim, I think it is two different things. I think for what like Melody does and what Canvas Beauty, and I think those are the ones you're talking about that are, you have to, like, you have to set those up. Like you can't, I think those are the ones you're talking about. And I honestly don't know if that's what Destiny did or not. And it don't matter. Listen, I want Destiny to do well, child. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Let Destiny do well, child. Let Destiny do well. We have seen Martell twice this season. We're in episode 5, and I think we have only seen Martell twice, maybe 3 times. Him and Destiny, because nobody wants to film with Martell. The only person that'll film with Martell is Destiny, and Destiny, is she even a main cast member? So then we see Nell and Trisha meet up, and basically they're recapping what happened at the party. And Nell talking about how, they're friends. This one, they are friends of the show. And Nell was talking about they talking about the party, whatever. And basically Nell said that she didn't appreciate how Tisha ran up on her husband, and she still talking about them not being transparent about what they got going on, and how she doesn't appreciate it. And she feel like Tisha is just, rude towards her, and just don't like her very much. But once again, Nell is sitting here whining. Nell, you told that lady to go ask her husband. You said if you got a problem with something, Chris said, go ask Chris. So Tisha got her drunk ass up and went to go ask Chris. Now, did she come in hot? Yeah. Was she a little loud and was putting her finger all in that man's face? Yes, she was. So I'm not defending Tisha. But what I'm saying is, you told that woman to go ask your husband, and she did. So Trisha is telling her, well, look, Nell, we got to figure out a way to work this out. Nell gonna tell Trisha, I don't have to do nothing. I said, oh boy. So she decides that she is gonna talk to Nell. Has run up on everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, Nell just wants to be honorary. She just wants to be, anyway. Kimmy gives me Tawana Braxton vibes. The good on the surface, dig deep. There's a whole other person. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Chris isn't film. Well, so far we haven't seen. Have we seen Chris in a scene with Martell yet? I don't believe we have. We saw Martell with Destiny twice, and we saw Martell with his mom. I don't think, y'all remind me. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've seen Martell with Chris. But I think Chris would probably film with Martell. But I don't think we've seen that yet. But I could be wrong. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Because, hell, the first 2 episodes were the Trish and Ken and Marquez show. I think before the season is over, we'll probably see Chris with Martell. But I think so far we haven't seen it. So, yeah, I'll add Chris to that. Oh, no, we did. Yes, we did. When Martell went by the house. Yeah, Martell did film with Chris and Nell. He did. He went by the house. So, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did go by there to clear up the whole Ariane picture down at the Derby situation. Okay. Yeah, he did. All right. So then we see the son, Kimmy's son, child. Now I can't think his name. I can see his face, but his name's not coming to me. He goes to see Kimmy, and Kimmy knows as soon as he comes in, she's like, okay, well, I know, he never comes by the office to see me. So let me, so what's going on? So come to find out that he didn't take the job in Colorado because, Jaylen, thank you. He didn't take the job in Colorado because he was offered another job locally. Where he said, it sounds like the money was right. Sounds like they were offering him the money. Y'all hear that thunder? Sounds like they were offering him the money that he wants to make. So he decided to stay local. Sounds like he negotiated. So Kimmy was very proud of him. And then they got to talking about Maurice and Monster and Marceau and that whole situation. Once again, Jaylen does not feel like Maurice gets it. And what he said was very interesting. Because Kimmy was like, well, I mean, it does seem like, there was some good. I mean, look at you now. And, some good came out of it. And what Jaylen said, which I thought was very interesting, he said, I felt like he was mentoring me, not raising me. I did not feel like he was my father. I felt like he was my mentor. And I said, you know what? That is probably the best way to explain what Jaylen has been trying to say. I do not think that Jaylen was saying that Maurice did not love him. I do not think he was saying that Maurice mistreated him or Maurice, abused him. But I think that is probably the best way to sum it up. I did not feel like he was raising me. I felt like he was mentoring me. So yes, from that aspect, I did turn out well, and he did a good job because I graduated from college and I've been working, and here I am. I just negotiated a really great job with a really great salary, and I've got investment properties, and I've bought my own home. Yes, all of those are great things, and yes, I can give him credit for that. That doesn't change what he's saying about not feeling like you raised him as his child. And therein lies the problem. And for Jaylen to sit there and tell Kimmy, yeah, he still don't get it, tells me that those two conversations that we witnessed, Maurice still doesn't understand what they're trying to tell him. And at this point, I feel like Maurice doesn't want to understand. Because if Maurice acknowledges that he understands, then I think in Maurice's mind, not true, but I think in Maurice's mind, by acknowledging that, I think on some level, Maurice feels like he has to acknowledge that maybe he did do that. Whether it was and here's where people piss me off. People say, well, I didn't mean to do it. Whether it was your intent or not is not the point. The point is that it happened. You might not have meant. That's like when I used to watch Judge Judy, and people would be arguing about a car accident and say, well, I didn't mean to do it. And she was like, it doesn't matter whether you meant to do it. You hit the car. That is what an accident is. Your intent doesn't matter. You did it. And because you did it, it was an accident, but you still have to pay. It was an accident, but that doesn't mean you don't pay. And I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like it's the same thing with this Maurice situation. It's like I don't believe that was your intent, but it doesn't matter what your intent was. What matters is that that's what you did. Right, Chuck. Raising children is difficult. And I feel like if he would just acknowledge that and say, look, I hear you. But it's like he always has to, but. Like, it's not, everything doesn't have to be a but. It could just be, I'm sorry. Because you can't undo it. But I think the acknowledgement. Right, Maurice. Right, Kim. Maurice is never wrong. He's never wrong. So anyway, I think it's hard to raise a teenager who's not your. I agree, it is hard. And I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear Kimmy. I didn't hear Marceau. I didn't even hear Jaylen coming at Maurice in an accusatory way. I heard them coming at Maurice in a listen. We on the outside tried to tell you this when it was happening. And now that Jaylen is an adult and he's old enough to articulate, he's telling you the same thing that we tried to tell you. And Maurice just doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to receive it. I don't think anybody is coming at him with an attitude. I don't think anybody's coming at him nasty. They're just making it like in a matter of fact statement. This is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Kimmy tried to tell him. Marceau tried to tell him. Maurice hears what Maurice wants to hear. So anyway. So the next scene. So yeah, that was pretty much that. So in the next scene, we see Tisha meet up with Nell. Now look. Again, I think both of these women irritate my soul. Because Tisha absolutely walked in there with an attitude. Nell absolutely walked in there with an attitude. So that conversation wasn't going to go far from the door. Now, I do feel like Tisha was a little bit more antagonistic. I feel like Tisha was a little bit more antagonistic than Nell was. I do believe. Because, like, Nell asked Tisha, what did Nell ask Tisha? No, maybe it was Tisha. Shit, I should have wrote it down. Because Tisha asked Nell something and Nell wouldn't answer the question. And yeah, it was Nell. It was Nell. But either way, they're going back and forth. They're not getting anywhere. And then Tisha said, well, what happened to Tisha's GLS? What do you mean what happened to her Mercedes? Was it an accident? She did a mail and I was here for it. Ooh, is that what it was, Kim? So then they got to talking about, she said, well, you know, Chris has done some things as it relates to Marceau that I don't appreciate. And child, they went all the way back to when they went down to Atlanta and Marceau tried to lie or tried to side talk that he was in Atlanta with Chris. Listen, I was with Nell with that one. Like, girl, are we really going back there? Are we really going back there? Are we really going back down that memory lane road? Tisha was driving a Ford Edge when she met with Nell. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that was her son's car. Maybe that's the car that got her son, and for whatever reason he was driving it, child. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention, so I don't even know, child. But or it might have been in the shop and she just picked up another car they had. I don't know, child. Excuse me. But it just was frustrating to me to see both of these women just go back and forth over nothing. And then when Tisha tried to tell Nell that she was yelling, and Nell really wasn't yelling. She really wasn't yelling. Now we've seen Nell yell. She wasn't yelling. But I just feel like both of y'all walked in there with an attitude. Both of y'all, neither one of y'all walked in there really ready to have a conversation. And when Tisha was like acting like she didn't come at her husband, she said, well, that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. That's how Tisha started the conversation. And if that were me, that would have set me off from the beginning. I would have been like, yeah, I'm good on this conversation. Because to me, that was very passive aggressive, you know. I don't feel like I came at your husband crazy. Well, I mean, that's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. The way she said it, I would have been like, yeah. I'd have been like, we can end this right now. We can end this scene right now because the way she said it set me off already. Like that already set me off. Well, I mean, you could say that. I mean, it's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. When Kimmy just told you that you got that girl husband face, with that woman's husband face, Kimmy just told you did. Now I know that they film stuff and it's not always in sequential order, but I can only go by what they showed us on the show. And on the show, you had a conversation with Kimmy where Kimmy told you was out of pocket the way you ran up on that woman's husband. Kimmy told you that. Which means that you had some idea that you was out of pocket. You know how else I know you was out of pocket? Because Marceau pulled you back. Marceau pulled you back and told you he got it. And you were like, no, what's going on? No, I want to know. No. I know good and damn well that when y'all got home and you sobered up, I know good and damn well Marceau had a conversation with you about how you ran up on that man. Because even Marceau knew you were out of pocket. That's why he was pulling you back. And that's why he was trying to get you to calm the fuck down. So for you to act like you didn't understand what Nell was talking about, if I was Nell, that would have set the conversation off for me. And I'd have been like, yeah, I'm good on this. We can shut this down. I'm good on this conversation. Because if that were me, I'm like, how can we have a conversation? Well, we can't even agree at this point right here. So, and then, like I said, then her response to me was just real passive aggressive. I don't think women should address men because my husband would check me. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where my husband has to defend over something he can't handle. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I know, Tisha, that you know you did too much because it was too many people that have told you did too much. So when Nell said, I didn't appreciate how you got in my husband's face, why you couldn't acknowledge and say, girl, listen, we've been drinking. And you're right. I mean, even though I still don't appreciate what your husband said about my husband, you're right. I was probably on 10. Okay, I was probably on 10. It don't change how I felt, though. I still felt some kind of way about what your husband said. But you're right. I was on 10. I was on 10. And then we could have at least started there. I'm not saying that Nell is all right, but can we at least acknowledge what we know is the truth? We know what didn't happen. Right. Marcel literally had to tell Tisha to calm down. Exactly, Kitty Doc. Exactly. So again, both of them, in my opinion, were being real. It just wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna work. And then Tisha basically ended up walking out of there. No one on this show takes accountability, child. She also said on Instagram she went too far a couple of times. Right. So, why you couldn't acknowledge it in this moment? So that you and Nell could have at least had some sort of a conversation. But anyway, neither here nor there. The conversation didn't go nowhere. Tisha ended up walking up out of there, and, there's that. I'm sure that's just going to drag this shit out for the next 4 episodes, but whatever. So then we have Lance and Chris. Chris goes by Lance's office for them to talk. And can I say, Chris is not my favorite person right now because I feel like Chris doing a lot of sidestepping and double talking for me, and he ain't my favorite person right now. But baby, can I tell you that I was here for all that Chris had to do in this scene? Because baby, Chris said, well, hold up. Hold up. Hold on, y'all. Pat? Yeah. I thought you were going out of town. I thought you were leaving this yesterday. I left Friday. Oh, Lord, girl. I thought you left yesterday. Friday. Child. I don't know why I thought you was gonna be gone for. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Okay. Sure. Jesus. Okay. Look, I don't know why I thought you was gone for a couple of days. Anyway. So, look, I heard somebody at the door, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Who at my door? Oh, no. On my way down this Friday. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, me and Pat, yes, we are. We are 2 ships passing. You ain't lying. I told you I'm going to start calling her Goldilocks. Sometimes the only reason why I know she here because something done moved. It's a cup in the sink, or I can tell she done bought some groceries in the house, or... So, child, that's on. Listen, I'm gonna start calling her Goldilocks. But anyway, so I love the way Chris handled this situation because Chris was like, "Didn't we have a conversation with y'all last year about setting boundaries? Didn't your mama say that she can't take on all of this? That it's too much? That y'all ask too much of her, and that y'all be stressing her out?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "So." Well, first of all, Lance gave his daddy the same song and dance about needing the help. And, but I told mama to ask you first. Baby, Chris was like, so you asking me, am I okay with my wife spending 3 to 4 nights out of the week not in my bed? Is that what you asking me right now? He said, because the answer is hell no. And then he went into how, didn't we have this conversation last year about your mama and setting the boundaries? He said, do you feel like he said, how do you think y'all have done as kids with this boundary thing? And he was like, you know, Lance was like, not real good. Not real good. So then, this is the part that I really love, right? This is the part that cracked me all the way up. Chris gonna tell Lance, you know who I think you need to talk to? I think you need to talk to Martell. He said, because Martell works in construction and he works full time. Uh-oh, why is... Hold on, y'all.
I'm fine, thanks.
Child, that's why I was like, why is Surrey on? He said, and he has his kids and he's managed to figure out how to balance it. So I think that's who you need to go talk to. Baby, when I tell you that thing cracked me up. That thing cracked me up because Chris was like, listen, you need to figure this out. And gonna call Martell because Martell got it all figured out. Okay, he got it all figured out. Now I'm sure that that's their way of just giving Martell more scenes and more people to film with. But at the same time, baby, Chris said, what you're not gonna do is take my wife. You're not gonna take my wife. No, ma'am. No, sir. So you better go figure it out. But anyway, y'all, that was pretty much the episode. It wasn't a whole lot going on. I mean, other than Nell, Tisha, and Child, I'm sick of them. I'm over it. But that was pretty much the episode. Tomorrow, child, I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. But this week, let me do it this way. This week we're gonna do of course we gotta do Heart and Hustle, Houston, Noah's Ark. We are gonna do Noah's Ark this week, Chuck. Divorce Sisters. I actually just watched the next episode of Divorce Sisters while I was eating dinner. So I'll do a review on that at this point this week. Not can somebody whisper in Nell's ear about her wigs, child. I feel like they've been trying to get Nell and them wigs together since she came on the show, child, because I don't know what Nell be having going on with her hair. I don't know what she be having going on with her hair, child. Yeah, the movie review. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we got going on this week. So I'm gonna see y'all on the other side. Okay? Talk to y'all later. Peace.